To best understand what a component lifecycle hook is, let's open up the Angular documentation and navigate over to the developer guide, and then we'll click on Lifecycle Hooks. Angular defines lifecycle hooks as a lifecycle managed by Angular itself. Angular creates it, renders it, creates and renders its children, checks when its data-bound properties change, and destroys it before removing it from the DOM. Angular offers component lifecycle hooks that give us visibility into these key moments and the ability to act when they occur. So basically, Angular creates our components, and then it builds our child components, and then it watches for any changes that are made to our properties, and finally removes them from the DOM. Angular gives us access to each one of these points in time, and that's what we're using lifecycle hooks for. So if we scroll down a bit under lifecycle sequence, here we can see the order Angular uses for each one of these hooks. The first two, ng-on-changes and ng-on-init, are the ones that you'll be seeing most commonly used inside of any Angular applications. The others here are used before and after initializing child components. When using lifecycle hooks, we use on-init to perform any component initialization after Angular has initialized the data-bound properties. We'll use on-changes to perform some action when a data-bound property input value has changed. And you'll also see on-destroy being used to perform cleanup within our components. Now let's take a look at how to implement lifecycle hooks. I'm using the word implement here because these lifecycle hooks are all interfaces. So when using any one of these hooks, there are 3 steps. The first thing we do is we add in our hook name in our list of imports, and they're located in Angular core library. So we can add a comma next to the component and then add our on-init lifecycle hook in this example. Next, we need to implement our hook just like we do any other interface by saying that our component class implements the hook of our choice, which in this case is on-init. And finally, we can use the ng-on-init method to perform some function within our class. And just to further clarify, on-init is the name of our interface, and ng-on-init is the name of the method that's defined within the interface. Now let's go ahead and work through a few examples including each one of these lifecycle hooks in our application.